Doesn't this cookie look amazing? It's an iced oatmeal cookie. Let's make it. Oh, oh my God. Oh, let's totally make it. All right, guys, so to the bowl of a stand mixer with a paddle attachment. You can do this by hand, but it's so much faster like this. We're gonna add 1 stick of butter. And we're gonna add 1/3 cup of packed light brown sugar and 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. We're gonna pull our bowl up and we're gonna whip this until, with the paddle attachment, on medium speed until it gets creamy. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So now it's starting to look creamy, it's a little whipped, it's voluminous. That's what you want. We're gonna add a room temperature egg. The reason you do things at room temperature is you want the batter to be all at the same temperature so that it incorporates properly into each other. If not, you're gonna be sitting there whipping it a long time, and that's where you get hard, crunchy cookies because they've been overworked. So, room temperature egg is gonna get mixed in with them. And if you see what's happening here, that it's kind of like the egg is not working into it, that's because everything is mushed to the bottom of this bowl. So we're going to scrape the bowl with a rubber spatula and we're going to let all of this incorporate again. One more time. All right, let's start adding our dry ingredients. So I'm going to add a cup of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda for the leavening, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's all been blended in here and added in. We're gonna start this on low so it doesn't make a floury mess. Let that just work its way in there. And to that, I'm gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have pumpkin pie spice or you don't care for it, substitute with 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And while that's working in, we're gonna add about 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. That's a lot of vanilla extract, but it works really well once you add the oatmeal to it. Okay, let's give this a stop and scrape the sides. You constantly want to be scraping the sides just to make sure that everything is incorporating in well. And then we're going to add 1.25 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. Shut that off and let's get our baking sheets ready. All right, guys, so I have a cookie sheet lined, or a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to use a cookie scoop to scoop our batter. I've made sure to scrape the sides, and I'm just using the cookie sheet to make sure that it's even. So you kind of want to run it flat against the edge of the bowl, bring it over here and drop it. Okay, so now that they're all scooped out, we're going to come in and we're just going to lightly press them down like that. You just want it to bake evenly and spread out evenly. Perfect. Okay guys, so now those are flattened down a little bit. We're gonna pop them into a 350-degree oven for 10 minutes. All right guys, so let's pull these out. As you can tell, they're not super dark brown. You want that. You want them to be light and chewy and not crispy crunchy. Beautiful. All right, so they're nice and warm straight out of the oven. All I'm gonna do is very carefully transfer them from this sheet onto this sheet with a rack so that they can cool. All right, guys, now that our cookies are cooling and they are beautiful, let me show you nice and up close. Look at that, that's perfect. They're crisp, not quite crisp, but they're like firm on the outside. You can feel them, they're smushy in the middle, like they're good and fluffy. Honestly, best cookie ever. We're gonna set it aside. Let's make the icing for it. And we're gonna start with 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. All right, there we go. To that, I'm gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Now, if you wanted this to be perfectly stark white, you would use that clear vanilla extract. They have one that's absolutely clear at the store and it's marked to say that it is clear. I make my own, so mine's not gonna be perfectly white. It's gonna be a little off-white, but that's fine. No big whoop. Okay. And then, oops, let me grab the milk. And to this, we're gonna add a tablespoon of milk. I'm keeping the milk nearby because if it's too thick, I can always add a little extra. And we're just gonna mix this with a whisk carefully. Woo, say that fast. So it's nice and creamy. It'll look like you don't have enough liquid in there at first, but just keep on zhuzhing it around and it will loosen up for you. And if it doesn't, well then that's why you have that extra milk there. See, mine did not. So let's add an extra, not even a full tablespoon, like maybe a teaspoon at a time. You just want it to get to the perfect consistency where it's not super runny because you're gonna coat these cookies. I'm gonna show you how to, and it's the easiest way. Okay, see, like that, that's beautiful. Maybe just a hair more, another teaspoon. There we go. Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. That's perfect. So a tablespoon and 2 teaspoons is what I had to add. And that's all depending on the humidity in your home at the time. See how it kind of drizzles like that? That's what you want. That cascading effect. It's perfect. Okay. So we're going to take our cookie and we're going to hold it by the edges. We're going to flip it upside down so the top is facing the icing and you're just going to dip it in. Let the excess drip off. And there's your iced oatmeal cookie. It's beautiful. All we're going to do is set this back onto the cooling rack just so that the icing sets. And then we can enjoy them in a little bit. All right, guys, look at these cookies. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys enjoy them as much as we do. Please make these. They are fantastic. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that bell. I love spending my time with you guys, and I would love to continue doing it. Thank you so much for joining me.